Am I an idiot for telling my sister her insecurities are not my problem? I, female 28, am a single mom of 3 kids. I met my daughter when I was 22 volunteering in a mentor program. Her bio mom asked that I take her in for a while when she was having a hard time, so I agreed to become her foster parent. Then 2 years ago we got the paperwork together for me to become her official guardian. I plan to adopt when kiddo is old enough to tell me that's what she wants. Last year I got a phone call from my daughter's caseworker, informing me that her bio mom had another child and she wanted him to be placed with his sister, so I took him in too. I didn't plan on having any other children, but I met someone, it didn't last, and long story short is that I have a first grader, a toddler, and I'm 25 WKS. My sister Bri, female 34, always loved hanging with my kids whenever she had the spare time. She's been struggling with infertility since she and her husband started trying for a baby 8 years ago, and I can tell how badly she wants to be a mom. I really do hope that someday it does happen for her, because it's all she's ever wanted. Since I announced my pregnancy though, Bri has been kind of distant. I thought that maybe it was just life stuff or I was being overly emotional due to hormones, so I didn't really press her on it or anything and went about things as usual. Our mom invited us all to dinner the other night, so I got my kiddos settled with a sitter and drove to my mom's place. Dinner went mostly fine, but Bri kept giving me looks every time someone brought up the pregnancy, and towards the end of the night she asked why I even adopted 2 children if I clearly had no trouble making a baby of my own. I told her that when I started fostering my oldest, it was just to give her a safe place to live until her mom could get things sorted. Unfortunately that didn't happen, and now her brother is with me too. I love my children and I'm happy to be their mom. But it wasn't my intention in the beginning to adopt via foster care. I wanted their bio mom to work things out, and my heart genuinely hurts for her because she wasn't able to do that. Bri then said that it feels like I'm rubbing my kids in her face. She told me that it isn't fair that I basically had 2 kids fall into my lap and then decided to be reckless and get knocked up too, all while she's been trying for years to have a child with no luck. She said it's cruel and unfair that I took 2 babies from the system that could have gone to parents who deserved them, all while being able to easily have one on my own. I ended up telling her that while it sucks, it's not my fault that some people want kids and can't have them, and that her infertility baggage isn't really my issue. Our mother asked me to leave and the next day called me to tell me that I was being unnecessarily cruel to my sister when I know what she's been going through. Now I don't know if what I said was out of line. Update. Hi, I know it's only been a few days since I last posted, but some things happened and I've decided to rinse my hands of the situation, so I thought I'd provide you all with an update. First though, I do want to thank you for your feedback. It was nice to be reassured that I wasn't being overly mean, as that's what I was mainly worried about. I do really love my sister and I don't ever want to cause her to hurt, even when we are fighting. So my mom was supposed to go to my anatomy scan with me yesterday, but she called me and told me that because Bri is still upset to the point of not speaking to me, she didn't want to make it any worse by going to the appointment. I took my toddler with me instead, and he was great company. The nurses absolutely loved having him there, and it was easier not to think about the fact that my mom ditched me when I had him to focus on. Mom did text me later wanting to know if the baby was a boy or a girl and if everything went alright, but I still haven't texted her back because I feel like I'd just end up getting even more hurt about the situation. I don't think I'm going to try anymore with either of them. I wanted to in the beginning because I think Bri just needs to talk to a therapist and sort her feelings out, but our mom deciding to skip out on this appointment with me just kinda sealed the deal. I sent Bri's husband a message, since Bri has blocked me, telling them both that I hope things work out for them in all the ways they deserve, and that I am genuinely sorry if I hurt her. I recommended talking to a therapist or support group of some kind, and said that when Bri has worked through all of the things she still needs to work through, she's more than welcome to call me. My dad found out about the argument and he's offered to come drive down with his wife to stay with me when the baby gets here, since the plan was originally for my mom to do it instead. I told him I'd let him know once it gets closer to the actual date, but I think that's probably what's going to end up happening. I'm not going to focus too much on Bri and my mom right now. My kiddos are my priority and I think what's best is to keep them away from the drama, so I don't plan on allowing Bri or my mom around for a while. Edit. Baby number 3 is a little boy. You all are so sweet for asking. Edit 2. Some people have been asking, so I wanted to clarify a few things. 1. My kid's bio mom and I had initially agreed upon me caring for the oldest without any outside court involvement, just an agreement between the 2 of us. 2 years after that initial agreement, I was 24, and it was clear that my daughter would be staying with me for much longer than originally intended. So then bio mom and I did mutually decide on court involvement to make the situation official. 2. Neither of the kids were infants when I was granted custody of them. 3. My toddler hung out with the nurses at the front of the clinic while I was in the actual appointment. Lol. He was too little to be allowed back. Not the idiot. What I love most about this is how you defended bio mom from criticism in the original post. We don't know her circumstances, and the fact you are willing to stand up for her is commendable and will surely bode well for the mental health of your adopted children in the long run. You sound like a deeply compassionate person, not the idiot. This time or last, I feel like your mom is making excuses for your sister's bad behavior and, in the process, is reinforcing said behavior. I think you made the best call you can for yourself and children. Just be sure to set good boundaries and be ready to reinforce them, because once the dust settles, someone may attempt to test them. Is her sister an awful person? Let me know in the comments. Now, am I the idiot for kicking out my parents for never telling me about my half-sister? I, 28, love my parents. They've always been great to me, loved me and supported me. They've been staying with me and my wife since we had a baby to help out, and if I'm being honest, it has been a great help having them around. Yesterday my dad asked me to get the mail from his place after work so he can pay his bills. Well, I got the mail and most of it is bills and ads but one actual letter. I didn't think anything of it and gave it to my dad. He apparently threw it out but my wife noticed it in the trash and read it. She didn't know what it was when she saw it. She brought it to me and it was addressed to my dad as father, so obviously my half-sister. She's pregnant and asking for money because it's harder for her to make it and she just wants to support her baby. I confronted my parents and yeah, she's 21-ish, born from my dad's affair. He gave her money until she graduated. She's writes him letters. She's apparently not in college cause she's broke and he thinks she's stripping or doing sex work. He doesn't even know for sure. He just told me he's done supporting her and she isn't his responsibility. We talked more about it for half an hour. My mom was quiet and my dad has never been like that. I don't even know the word to describe how he was. It just made me so freaking angry I made them leave right there without even taking their things back. Cause it feels like it's my fault. I have a sister out there who's living like garbage while I'm out here enjoying my life. After looking into her a bit more, I talked to two cousins 2 hours ago and they're both divided on if I did the right thing. One cousin thinks I was an idiot for making my parents leave without talking things through or even making a plan, but her sister thinks I did the right thing. My wife told me she's staying out of it since she regrets reading somebody else's mail. I just don't know myself. I feel like an idiot for making my parents leave cause I love them so much, but at the same time I feel so mad over the situation. Edit. Since people are wondering if my mom knew because she was so quiet, she knew everything. Update. I want to thank everyone who said to go talk to my parents. That's the first thing I did. I went to their place and I tried to talk to them. But it was frustrating and my mom got angry when I said I was going to reach out to my sister. She asked why I cared and I got upset and told her because she taught me to. My dad saw me out after that and surprised me by telling me he was proud of me for being a better man than him. That was weird. Anyway, my wife reached out to my sister Anna and she agreed to meet. We went with my cop friend Joe cause you never know. We met Anna in her apartment and it's on the rough side of town. It's tiny and a poop place to live. Anna's a small, quiet girl who works in a library. She reminds me of my gran. She claims she's only a waitress at a strip club to make ends meet. Obviously she can't do it now. She said she's failed like her mom and the best thing she can do is have her kids succeed. She said she just wanted cash to take pregnancy classes. I gave her my number and some cash, of which she gave a lot back right away. That night my wife asked if I could let Anna move in cause she felt heartbroken. I gave Anna the offer but she refused and said she won't take advantage of us. About a month later she phoned me crying and said there's black mold in her building and she has to go. She came to us with barely anything, just clothes, a wallet, a toothbrush and a sack of old books. Since then she's just been sad and really alone because she thinks she's taking advantage. She tries to help with chores a lot and always apologizes. She's only happy when she plays with our baby. But it was her birthday a few days ago and she asked if we'd get her cupcakes. It was like she expected me to say no. But my wife went and got them in a whole DQ cake while I got her the box set of The Expanse books. She started crying and hugged us both when she saw everything on the living room table for her. In the days since, she has seemed happier and I won't lie, I'm worried for her but I do think stability has helped her. As for my parents, my mom refuses to come as long as she is there, so I visit her with the baby sometimes. My dad refuses to go because he says he's ashamed. Whatever, I guess. On the other hand, my wife's parents told me they are more proud of me than ever. Not the idiot. One thought for moving forward. If you'd like Anna to feel less insecure about her role in your life and in your home, you might consider working out an explicit contribution arrangement that both works within her capabilities, skills, and also provides real value to your plus wife that you can be genuinely grateful for. While Anna isn't in a position to contribute to your household financially, it takes a lot more than money to make and sustain a happy, healthy home environment, and she may be perfectly capable of contributing in other ways. Even if there are things she doesn't know how to do well yet, if she could be excited to learn and it would be a real help to y'all, then it would be a wonderful growth opportunity. Should she have kicked her parents out? Let me know in the comments. Now, am I an idiot for being a burden on my sister? When I, male 21, was a kid, my mom passed away and my sister, female 28, was basically my maternal figure. This happened when I was 6 and my dad goes to work at 5 a.m. and only comes back around 11 p.m. My sister usually took care of me. She sacrificed a lot to take care of me and she spoiled me a lot too. Despite my dad telling her not to worry about cooking, she would always come home from school and cook, and she was the one who helped me pack for school trips. My dad and I are really grateful to her and she always says she wouldn't have done anything different. She was basically my mom, and I'm very close with her. She calls me daily and checks in on me, and does the same with my dad. Once again, for my dad and I, we couldn't imagine life without her. We both feel really bad about her sacrificing her childhood, but she insists she didn't sacrifice anything as she still did stuff and all she did extra was cook and help take care of. But that's a huge responsibility that me and my dad acknowledge. My sister and her girlfriend 24F have been in a relationship for 2-3 years. I recently moved to my sister's city after transferring to her college. I went to visit her and her girlfriend and catch up over lunch since it's been 7 months since I've seen my sister. This was my first time meeting her GF. When I saw my sister and met her GF, everything was normal. My sister invited me to visit their apartment whenever I had a chance. My sister asked me if I wanted some of her home-cooked meals she made for me as a kid, and I smiled and asked if she could make one of my favorites. I love my sister's cooking and I was really happy she offered. Her GF's face contorted but she didn't say anything. My sister got called into a work emergency at her hospital and told me and her GF to continue lunch without her and finish meeting each other. As soon as my sister left, her GF's attitude started changing. She told me my sister always spoke so fondly of me when all I seemed like was a burden, and how my dad and I were misogynistic and brainwashed my sister to be our servant. Check said, she's my sister, a victim who doesn't realize she's a victim. She said so many hurtful things and said I came back into my sister's life and even now I'm being a burden by asking her to cook for me. We both left, but it didn't end there. She messaged me on Instagram with more of the same stuff. She said if I care about my sister I won't tell her the conversation we had since my GF was just looking out for my sister, and I would slowly take me and my dad out of my sister's life. I feel so bad. I never wanted my sister to lose her childhood or be my servant. The more I think about it, the more I think maybe her GF is right. So am I an idiot for being a burden on my sister her entire life? Should I slowly distance myself from her? What do I do to let her live her own life? Update. I talked to my father about it since it includes him too, and my father cried at the thought of his daughter being better off without him. But both my father and I don't want to cut my sister out of our life, and we thought we were selfish. My father has never cried except for when my mom died. He didn't cry when his parents died, but that day he cried, thinking about not having contact with his daughter. The second time in my life I've seen him cry. I finally showed my sister with my dad, and she was shocked. She said she's never thought of it as a burden to care for me, and she hugged me and we all had a family crying session as we reflected on the hardships and memory after my mother passed away. My father and I told my sister we don't mind what the girlfriend did and she should be with her if she's happy, but my sister said it's run its course. Anyone who doesn't like my dad and me isn't right for her is what she said, and that the three of us are a package deal. My sister broke it off with her GF, and her GF unfortunately has nowhere to go since my GF let her stay in her apartment so far without asking for rent. My sister blocked her on everything, and so did I. Her GF messaged me on a burner account saying she doesn't even care that I made her homeless. That's the least of her happiness, but it's that I ruined my sister's love and that I'm homophobic. I showed my sister those messages and my sister laughed and told me to ignore any communication from her. My sister has assured me I didn't ruin the relationship, and she would have been heartbroken if I or my dad distanced ourselves. She said she's proud of the Alan I grew up to be and she wouldn't change anything about the past. We both cried again. Edit. A lot of people mentioned we should do something for my sister to show her our appreciation. I reached out to her boss, who is my friend's older brother, and asked if she had any vacation days, and he said she should be getting a winter break for Christmas. Usually she spends this break at home with us or somewhere else since she's saving up. I talked it through with my dad, and one of my sister's dreams has been to visit the Canary Islands. She's always told us this and has even said it would be a perfect winter spot to avoid the chill. So we are pooling together money to get her a 12-day round trip. We will have everything booked in the next week, and we will surprise her with it as soon as everything is confirmed. That's all. Once again, thanks to Reddit. I won't be doing any more posts or anything. I'm going to abandon this account soon. Thank you all. We are also paying for 2 of her best friends to go with her obviously. We don't want her to go alone, as that's not fun. Not the idiot. I am glad things worked out. The primary reason I can see her ex-GF saying those things would be to try and break your sister away from her family so she would be easier to abuse and control. It is entirely possible and likely that she tried from your sister's end first and didn't gain any traction. Oh, wow, you are so incredible taking on that burden. Oh, it wasn't a burden. I love my family, and while it would have been nice to be a carefree kid for longer, taking care of my brother and my dad was super important to me and still is.